Good evening, and it's great to have you with us here on a very busy Thursday night. And we begin tonight with the growing certainty from U.S. intelligence that it was an Iranian missile that brought down that passenger jet that crashed outside Tehran, allowed to take off just hours after Iran launched those missiles targeting the U.S. military. And tonight here, this new video posted by a resident in a Tehran neighborhood showing the plane on fire and then crashing. This CCTV video airing on Iranian media showing the moment of impact at the crash site. The devastation where the passenger jet came down just minutes after takeoff, the wreckage strewn across so many acres. All 176 people on board died, 63 of them Canadians. Tonight, Iran is defiant, calling it scientifically impossible that they are to blame. But what's now been done at the crash site, and there is news coming in, will U.S. investigators now be allowed in? ABC's David Curley, who covers aviation, leading us off.
For the first time tonight, what appears to be the moment that 737 is hit by a missile. This video shot in the neighborhood of the last track position of the Ukrainian jetliner. That missile can be seen streaking upwards right before impact, the sound following seconds later. The crippled jetliner in this video, posted by a resident outside Tehran, shows the plane apparently on fire, breaking apart and crashing 3 miles away. That impact also captured by CCTV video, which is airing on Iranian media, the moment of impact with debris streaking past the camera. All videos reinforcing Western intelligence out tonight that Iran's anti-aircraft system hit the jetliner. More than a third of the 176 on board were Canadian.
The evidence indicates that the plane was shot down by an Iranian surface-to-air missile. This may well have been unintentional.
The American intelligence community is confident, a U.S. official confirms to ABC, that Iran turned on a radar aimed at the jetliner, which would guide anti-aircraft missiles from a mobile launcher. A U.S. satellite then captured the firing of 2 missiles at the 737, which was less than 5,000 feet off the ground. The warheads of those missiles would explode near the aircraft, blowing into bits of shrapnel that would pierce the aircraft in multiple locations. Pictures from the scene yesterday showed what appeared to be shrapnel holes in the wreckage of the Ukrainian jet. President Trump wouldn't say if he thought the jet was shot down, but
somebody could have made a mistake. Some people say it was mechanical. I personally don't think that's even a question, personally.
Iran continues to deny it shot down the jet, calling it scientifically impossible. But look at what the Iranian government has done. This was the scene hours after the crash yesterday. ABC News has exclusively obtained this video from this morning. The crash scene cleared of wreckage, the potential evidence.
That's just incredible. David Corley with us live from Washington. You just reported there that the crash site has been cleared, and rather quickly, David, just as we get word tonight that U.S. investigators might be allowed into Iran now?
As well as the Canadians, the French, and the Ukrainians. The U.S., if it accepts the invitation, the NTSB then would undoubtedly invite Boeing to also take part in this investigation, David.
But, of course, that crash site has now been cleared. David Curley leading us off tonight. David, thank you. And you heard the president there on the crash. He was also asked today about his own decision to order that deadly strike on Iran's top general. And he offered a new claim, saying there was a plot to blow up the U.S. embassy in Baghdad. The administration pressed tonight, where is the evidence of that plot? And ABC's chief White House correspondent Jonathan Karl picks up the story.
1 week after he ordered the attack on Qasem Soleimani, the president offered a new reason for killing him.
We did it because they were looking to blow up our embassy.
The president was asked what evidence he had that Iran was trying to blow up the American embassy in Baghdad.
Can you provide more detail on what that plot was?
No, I think it was obvious. If you look at the protests, that was a totally organized plot. And you know who organized it. That man right now is not around any longer, okay?
But several senators who were briefed on the intelligence that led the president to order the attack say there was no mention in the briefing of a plot to bomb the embassy. Democrats and at least a few Republicans complained about the briefing, which was conducted by the president's national security team.
They had to leave after 75 minutes while they're in the process of telling us that we need to be good little boys and girls and run along and not debate this in public. I find that absolutely insane. I think it's unacceptable.
Mr. President, I'm sure you saw Mike Lee's comments. Did your national security team really say that it would be wrong for Congress to debate military action on Iran?
So Mike and Rand Paul disagreed because they want information that, honestly, I think is very hard to get. It's okay if the military wants to give it, but they didn't want to give it.
The current resolution is adopted.
The House today approved a resolution requiring the president to get congressional approval for any future military action against Iran that lasts longer than 30 days.
Fight any foe, pay any price to keep the American people safe, but to not be frivolous and cavalier about how we decide to show strength.
Would you go to Congress to take further military action against Iran? Would you seek congressional approval?
It would all depend on the circumstance. I don't have to, and you shouldn't have to be able, because you have to make split-second decisions sometimes. Sometimes you have to move very, very quickly, John.
All of this fast-moving today, John, and of course, as all of this plays out, so does the impeachment showdown, this battle over when the Senate trial will begin. And House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, as you know, has been pressed repeatedly. When will she deliver those 2 articles of impeachment passed by the House? And again today, she said she wants to know what this trial is going to look like. Here's what she said.
As I said right from the start, we need to see the arena in which we are sending our managers. Is that too much to ask for?
So are you going to find the articles indefinitely?
No, I'm not holding them indefinitely. I'll send them over when I'm ready. And that will probably be soon.
So, John, Speaker Pelosi now saying soon. What are you hearing tonight about the timing of all this?
Well, David, Democrats close to Speaker Pelosi, they say they expect her to turn the articles over to the Senate in the coming days. Senate leaders, meanwhile, are preparing for a Senate trial they expect will start next week. The bottom line, I expect that we will see the 3rd presidential impeachment trial in American history begin by early next week, David.
All right, next week. John Carl, thank you. We're also watching a major winter storm threat looming tonight, set to bring treacherous driving from the south all the way up into Michigan, then right across into the northeast. Heavy rain, flooding, tornadoes, snow, and ice. Meteorologist Rob Marciano tracking it all again tonight. Hey, Rob.
Hi, David. This storm about to eject out of the Rockies with some strong dynamics for all those hazards. For starters, let's look at the flood watches now posted up from Vermont, New York, all the way back through Texas. Winter storm watches from northern Oklahoma in through Michigan. And, of course, we're very concerned about the warm sector severe storms. Dallas to Houston tomorrow afternoon. That's a dangerous spot. Tornadoes, damaging winds up through Shreveport, Little Rock, Memphis to New Orleans Saturday morning, then pushing into Birmingham in the afternoon. There you see the flooding rains in the Ohio River Valley and the snow and ice from Tulsa all the way up through Milwaukee, and those rains and that ice gets in the northeast on Sunday. Could see a foot of snow in spots in the cold sector. Dave.